Hello, everyone. Welcome to the February 2021 Acquisition Special Interest Group. We've hopefully got a few more people to join us in a few minutes, but with Rhonda being in Texas and Texas being in under inclement weather, we're not sure if she'll be able to join us all that soon. Our special guest today is Andrew from the ByWater Education Team. And he's got an interesting bug that he's going to share with us. And hopefully we'll get a few more people to join us in a few minutes. But this is being recorded, so Andrew can start talking and you can catch it later on koha-US's YouTube channel.
Hi, everybody. I think I've met most of you before, but if I haven't, hi, nice to meet you. I'm Andrew. Yeah, so we're going to look today at, let me share my screen, this bug. Oh, no, sorry, I lied. This bug, 8179, receiving multiple order lines at once. So the first thing I want to say about this bug is this bug is at failed QA right now. I just put it back to failed QA this morning. And honestly, realistically, I expect it to bounce back and forth between needs sign off and failed QA a few more times before all is said and done. Just acquisitions is complicated and there are a lot of little things to check and make sure they work properly. Hi, Rhonda.
Hi. Sorry for not being late.
Oh, hey. It's where we're at. You froze. It happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been playing with this some. I'm going to keep playing with it. But we've got some back and forth. It's going to be probably some process of I find a place where the math is wrong and I wave at Augustin and he writes a new patch and we continue to play around. One of the big things I want to say about this bug is that it is written on top of this other bug, 20212, slowness in receiving and acquisitions. This one, 20212, is a complete overhaul of the back end of receiving, like the manner in which Koha finds and retrieves and edits data around receiving. It makes it work entirely through the APIs rather than through database calls. I only half know what that means. But I can tell you that it means it goes a lot faster. If y'all have any vendors with whom you have like hundreds of open orders, you will have probably noticed that every time you click to receive, that page takes a long time to open. This does remarkable things for that. That page pops right up and it works really well. This was a lot of back and forth, just like I expect 8179 to be. Because basically what we're doing in both cases is writing whole new paths to find data, which my experience of that has been kind of like migrating your data from one ILS to another. Suddenly you've got all the same data and you're looking at it in a different way, which tends to reveal data oddities. As we were testing this one, 20212, we had an existing partner's data that we were loading into it, and we kept finding places where like, oh, once upon a time, Koha marked orders as canceled this way, but now it marks them as canceled in this other way. And we wrote this patch to work with the new way, but there was all this old data hanging around that confused things. So that's a big part of why this is going to take a while, because it's going to be teasing out Koha's own data inconsistencies. I also expect that to be a thing that we have a lot of conversations about when we start upgrading partners to 2105 and they have this new receiving infrastructure. There's going to be data cleanup there. There may well be more data cleanup relating to 8179, but hopefully the first one handles it all. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It's just, I definitely draw a parallel between this and what we've gone through with account lines, where we are like hardening that data. We're making the structure better, but doing so reveals the ways in which we've been real loosey-goosey in the past. We've got some chickens coming home to roost on that one. All that said, so obviously we can't sign this off right now, but I'm more than happy to show it to you. And then I would love for you all to give feedback on what we see here on the bug. This is probably far enough along at this point that it will go into Koha with this basic workflow structure. I mean, if we hit something in here that causes huge levels of unrest, we can still mark the bug in discussion and kind of stopper it and refocus. But this one's pretty far along.
Andrew, folks should add some of their comments in the bug itself, sign into Bugzilla as well. Because we'll have this recording, of course, but it helps out when the librarians get in on the conversation in Bugzilla.
Yeah, I mean, it makes the conversation easier to track. It also, I can't tell you how much more weight any of your individual voices carry than mine. If I come in here and say, and give this list of things that librarians told me, which I'm putting in scare quotes because that's kind of how it comes across. Librarians say this should work this way. That doesn't mean half as much as Rhonda coming in and saying as herself, I am a librarian and I think it should do this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I would love to see how it works.
Yeah. So here's my test site. First off, the really boring part. There's a new system preference.
Of course.
Receive multiple order lines. Once we turn that on, we get the option to receive multiple order lines. So let's then go to acquisitions. I've got just one vendor in here with not much expected. But if I go receive shipment, oh, there you go. No changes here. This screen looks the same. Sure, let's make a new invoice. New one. Charge some shipping, why not? So yeah, no change here. Okay. And on this screen, there really isn't much apparent, obvious, immediate change. Oh, words not going. Little bit of restructuring. There was a big search box over here on the left that has gone away just because it was redundant. These individual search boxes do everything that big search box did.
Okay. Yeah.
That said, I think there is already some discussion in Bugzilla about whether or not folks loved that second search box so much it needs to come back. So we'll see. So from here, I could receive an individual order just like I did before. Click the receive, same screen here. Again, this has totally changed what it's doing on the back end, how Koha is interacting with the data, but no change from our perspective. If I cancel out of here, the other thing you'll see on this page though are these little checkboxes. So if I want to receive both of these orders, I checkbox them both. There is not a way to select all. I don't have a select all button up here, which I waffled about. I almost said in the bug that we should have that, but then I thought about the library that accidentally says select all and suddenly tries to receive everything. And that seemed bad. But I don't know. You should all think about how you feel about that. And if you want a little select all, deselect all. But okay. Once I've checked 2 or more boxes, I can click this receive selected down here. And that little number there changes as I click stuff. Okay. I should say, if I don't check anything, then the button doesn't do anything. And if I check just one of these, it actually just takes me to the normal receive one order page. But if I have picked 2, oh, and see the thing, this is the other thing I said on the bug this morning. It gets mad if you go in to receive one and then cancel out. I have to uncheck and recheck the box. The joys of software testing. Okay, so I've got the things I'm going to receive. I'm going to hit edit on just one of them. That brings me up a pop-up that is this order. My accounting tab is all that same stuff I expect on the receiving page, just sort of restructured here. This has never been received before, so there's no history. There's my item. So this is, again, the same thing I would see on that other page. If I say I am receiving 1, checks my item box over here. I suppose if I had multiple items here and I was receiving just some of them, I could have started here and checked the boxes instead of changing the number. Just like other orders, I can change any of these values if I want. Get this replacement price. It cost more than we expected, all that stuff. But then here's the multi part. Save changes would finish just this one order, but I have next and previous buttons to just go without leaving this pop-up, just go through my orders and say, oh yeah, and then this one, I have one of those as well. No changes on prices. Once I've gone through all the orders, then I save changes. That updates this page. And then when I save all the way, that's back here as if I had done those two individually.
Okay.
So still all the same stuff to interact with, just not all that back and forth. I'm going into this title and then back out and then into this one and back out.
I'm really curious to see what happens if you've ordered like 3 copies of something.
Sure.
What that looks like.
Let's back up. Let's go an existing bid here. And sure, we'll order 3 of them. I don't have anything required in here, do I? No. Testing Docker always give you a really weird tax rate, and I don't know why. Okay, but yeah, nothing here has changed. Yes, I know. Spent all my pretend money. And I should put something else in here just so I am receiving multiple.
So I'm, yeah. How did you get that message about receive, your budget or whatever? What I didn't see that.
Here, I'll show you in a second. That
Okay.
was just for sure. Several of you as well. Can't remember which one of these I picked. I just
You picked
whichever
1
fund
too.
Yeah, I think you did 1 too.
I had overspent it. They're very small funds to begin with.
Okay.
It's gonna yell at me some more now,
Okay.
especially since I just made that a really expensive book. Yeah, and that is just I've spent more money than I have.
Okay. And does that only happen when you've exceeded your amount, or is it when you get close?
It depends how you set your fund up. Oh yeah, I'm way in the hole. Oh, it was a $100 fund to begin with.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And you've
Now
already-
we all know that Rhonda's right on point with her acquisitions fund spending because she's
Yeah,
getting
that's right. Yeah.
This is testing Docker again. When it loads up some like pretend data to start and it puts gibberish numbers in a bunch of places.
Okay.
So I could have set my fund up to give me a warning when I hit a particular percent spent or a particular amount spent. So when I get to 29,000% of my budget spent, this will yell at me.
Okay.
Right now it's yelling at me just because I went over the $100.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, I'm gonna close this basket. Yes, please. Then I'm going to receive. So at this point, if I say I want to receive both of these, I'm expecting 3 copies of this one and 5 copies of this one. I have mixed feelings on this window about where I would rather it started me. Like I click that edit button and I'm immediately here.
Right. And that when I saw it the very first time, I'm like, you can't do anything, you know?
Yeah.
I would rather it showed up at that accounting, because that's where you're going to have to go to change the anyway. I would rather it defaulted to the accounting one.
Yeah.
I can see that it's like, hey, are you sure this is the title you want to, or the item that you're looking at? Especially if you have several in series. But probably it being on the same page, like, hey, this is the ISBN. You double check. All right, now make sure you check the right boxes.
It's on the top though, Margaret. I thought the same, but you do have the title in the blue line.
Yeah, that's true.
Hmm.
I wonder if an ISBN in there wouldn't also be helpful. Just a little bit more information that persists between tabs.
Because if you had something that's got, you know, the same title, lots of different subtitles or, you know, series.
Ultimately, so I'm expecting 3 of these. I could just put a 3 there. I could come over here and say, got 2. Or for that matter, I could have typed the 2 in there. Probably do want an actual cost. This one, I'll say we got 3 of them. Mess that up further. And because I said 3 there, that checked 3 boxes here. I'm going to save changes. So now I'm receiving 2 out of 3 here and 3 out of 5 there. This should, when I save it, yeah, there we go. I have received 2 of those and 3 of those, which has generated new order lines for my remaining copies, 1 and 2, just like it would have if we had done those titles individually.
Okay. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, we've got one chat. Michelle said, agree with default to accounting. So, yeah, we've got about 50-50 right now.
And probably that which tab is selected on that little pop-up menu, I imagine is something we could change with jQuery if folks really, if there is not a set opinion on the matter.
Yeah, but the 2 that want it are real librarians, so Margaret and I get no say.
I think that's quite all right.
Yeah.
I guess curious why it does need to be in separate places with the, you know, info on a different page from the accounting.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, that was a thought that went through my head too. It was like, why can't that, because it's just 3 little lines.
Or make that persistent across the top of all the pages, because I imagine people get into a rhythm and they've got the book done, get the book done, or double check the list. But as soon as you get interrupted and then you go, wait, which one was I on?
Right.
A little bit of help.
As someone who has to, wait, am I muted still?
No, you're not.
Oh, okay, good. It didn't light up. As someone who has to do this all day long for my job, because I'm doing all the receiving, it's going to be an extra. I would like it, yes, to have the edit East Street Shuffle with the ISBN right across the top, because yes, if you get dog diaries, which one is it? Dork diaries, which one is it? And they're all dork diaries all across the board. So yeah, I would prefer it to start with accounting and just have it in that top part.
I'm not certain how much this will ever show. I mean, we built this order from an existing bib, so it was a full bib, and it's only showing title, author, ISBN. I don't know if other bib information would be there if it were present in the record. I'm guessing not. So it's not like this is ever going to be huge. If we're putting all 3 of those lines, yeah, up in this blue box at the top.
I would think that those 3 pieces of information should be enough for
Yeah.
you to identify that, yes, this is the right one, especially.
Mhm.
Is there anything else in particular y'all want to see or other questions you have? Or
Okay. I'm just trying to think of some other weirdness that, happens.
well, don't do that.
Yeah. Error trace. That seems interesting.
Yeah, I wonder why. Huh. Okay. Make a little note here.
Because, it's like we order 1 item, we get 1 item. The other thing that happens is we order 3 items and 2 will come in on Monday and the last one comes in on Friday.
Yeah.
That stuff happens. What else happens? You need to change the fund, maybe for whatever reason, change the price. You can still do that. I don't know. Does anybody else have any things that they tweak when they receive items?
No, it pretty much had everything that I can dredge in my memory.
I was gonna real quick make another basket set to create items on receiving, just because that'll play in here somehow.
Okay.
I can't think of any libraries that create items on receiving. I think that's sort of the unloved middle child.
Yeah, ours are always on order, so.
We'll make one of these and we'll charge it there. Suppose I could reuse an invoice. You. Put you with your friend there. So this one, it's a bad bid record. That one looks the same. Aha, and then we get a little item creation. That makes sense.
Oh, okay.
So from here, I would say, sure. I've made an item, so I have received one. Give it a cost. That actual cost would normally pre-populate itself, right? That's one of those little like workflow things that I always second guess when I hit them in a bug. Yeah, that wouldn't. So I assume y'all don't want to have to put that in manually every time.
Mm-hmm.
If it is right now, assuming that actual cost will match budgeted cost, and then just letting you change it as needed.
Yeah, that's true.
Michelle, does that match with your memory of it?
Yes.
The actual cost usually will have a number.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll mention that on the bug too. But if I save that, oh, okay, that's good to know. I'll figure out what went wrong there. So somehow it has failed to make my item.
What does that say? No
No
quantity
quantity.
receive.
Oh, okay. That's this one. So
Oh.
I
You didn't, yeah.
didn't set anything. Interesting. So first off, it probably shouldn't get too upset that I tried to do that.
Yeah.
Second, that typo is just going to annoy everybody forever.
Yes.
There's a typo in the second one too. Cocurd.
Oh, it is. Occurred.
That's 2 errors at once. They're co-occurring.
I learned a new word today.
I mean, if you pulled it in to receive it and then you didn't, the whole, I looked away and now I'm back at the desk and hit save too soon sort of deal. I'm glad it tells you, hey, but maybe in a
Same.
different way.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing.
It's like,
Yeah.
oops, did you realize that you didn't actually select one from the one you picked?
Which is not a bad
That would
thing
help
to know,
on
for
the
sure.
really long ones too. And you're like, I'm done. Wait, it doesn't match the invoice.
Maybe the message should be, wait, you're almost there. There's just one more. Look at order number such and such. Positive language.
Right, yeah. No quantity to receive. Yeah, we can work on our grammar and our spelling. But other than that.
Yeah. And those are easy things to fix in the patch.
Mhm.
Easier to fix now than to fix later by this much.
Yeah. Mhm. Okay.
All right. Well, is there anything else I can do for you all?
I can't think of anything.
Okay. Well, do please have another go through the recording and head on over to Bugzilla and give whatever feedback you've got there. So Augustine can see that and we'll see what we can work in here and what we can follow up on in follow-ups.
Okay.
I don't imagine 20212 is going to get backported just because it is an enhancement and a big enhancement. So that means 8179 is really not able to get backported either because it's on top of this one. So this is already not going to happen until 2105,
Mhm.
which is nice in that it gives us some time to make sure it does exactly what we want it to do.
So this one, 20212, it's pushed to master. So
Yep.
that one's definitely going to be there. We're just working on the other one.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Well then, thanks y'all.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. I'll run away and leave you to it.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks, Andrew. Okay. Well, I look like I just got out of bed because I have to thank the acquisitions SIG, because if I hadn't have run to take a shower this morning, I wouldn't have realized that our bathroom shower pipe was almost frozen. And so I was dripping that faucet and finally it came out, but yeah, it sort of shot my timeline all to pieces this morning. So the fact that I'm even here is
We're glad you're here, Rhonda, because it's cold and a little bit dangerous down in Texas. So we're glad to see you're safe and not, have power in those things.
right. Yes.
Running water.
We have power and water. I have other coworkers that don't have power, don't have water, don't have both. So yeah, we're doing good. We just came really close to a frozen shower pipe, which yay, it's flowing great now. So that's good. So in the invitation to the meeting, I put some asked for suggestions for things people were interested in, and then put some other suggestions in there. I didn't hear anything back from anybody. So I'm just curious if there's anything that anybody is interested in looking at, wants to just talk about. We're kind of looking at receiving right now. We sort of, Nick has taken the, oh shoot, now I forgot what it's called again, blanket PO process. He's taken that to the developers and they're talking about that to try and get that moving. In the koha-US development, their work, that committee, they're working on the new process for developments where we can put, suggest different developments. So I'd like to suggest our development again, get it out there for crowdsourcing or crowdfunding or whatever it is. And then I think those are the three main things that we're sort of paying attention to right now, is getting the blanket POs working, getting multiple receiving working, and then I don't even remember what the bug was about now. Yeah, my brain. It was good, whatever it was. So I don't know if we have anybody that's interested in seeing, yeah, I'm at home right now, so I don't have my dual monitor. So I am just gonna go back and forth here and see what I can see.
I'll keep an eye on the chat for you, Rhonda.
Okay, thank you.
I put the bug in the chat for that development you guys proposed. I think that's the one.
Okay. Okay. So let me just see what some of the topics were. How to set up acquisitions, like the vendors of baskets and all that kind of stuff. If you're kind of new, if you're new or you haven't used acquisitions before, that's very helpful. How to download orders from a vendor site into Koha. If you want to have your on order records in Koha, I don't know. I think most people know how to do that, or how to update records when you mess up. Those were some of the ideas I had. I don't know if anybody has anything else. And let me just go look at that bug. Oh, yeah. Okay. So this was to create the ability in the budgets and funds to track changes, which, oh, yes, how could I forget that? That's so needed. But what that would do is, if money comes in during a year that gets added to a particular fund or budget, there'd be a way to track that information so that when, for us, the time that's helpful is to see, did we transfer money in between these? Are we not using as much money in the DVD fund? Are we always, pulling money out of that? How much did we pull out last year? Or if you get a donation, somebody gave a donation to the library to buy, $1,000 worth of science books or something, there's a way to track it then. If, there's a worldwide pandemic and your city cuts your budgets, can't ever happen, you have a way of tracking that. We got, this budget was reduced by this amount because of a pandemic. So that's what that third one is, which will be very, very helpful in just tracking what's happening with your money. I don't know does anybody have anything that they would like to talk about, or something that's happened in the last month in your acquisitions processing that you thought, oh, how do I do this? Or I found a really cool workaround for this situation. What do y'all do when a vendor cancels a order on you? How, you know, do you have a process set up, you know, to track cancellations? And or anything like that. I can say ours is pretty manual, you know. We get the notice from our vendor that they've canceled this. You know, we have to go in and find that item and cancel it in the thing. So it's pretty manual. Tracking through. I don't know if anybody's got a better solution for that.
I think it would be a decent edutainment to go over updating orders when there's been a little bit of a mess up. I'm sure that's a not infrequently searched manual or Google, oh, how do I fix this sort of thing? So let's fold it into this meeting, and that should only take about 20 minutes, round us out to the top of the next hour.
All right, that sounds good.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to decide if I use our system or if I use the ByWater dev system to do this. I'm sort of
Well, we
leaning.
know there's no messed up orders in your system, Rhonda, so I think it's going to have to be the ByWater one.
Well, that's an excellent point. That is an excellent point. Yeah, we are meticulous in our. Okay, so let me first pull this up so you don't have to watch me do that. And then, what do they say? Talk amongst yourselves. Oops.
I'll take this opportunity to do a little plug for Koha-thon. We still
Yay.
really need presentations, and acquisitions would be a great topic to present on. So if you guys have something you want to give a talk on, it's all virtual. I'll put the form in the chat there. We would welcome any and all presentations. It doesn't even have to be acquisitions related. It can be anything Koha related. It can be anything open source related. So would love to see some good presentations. So that's in the
Yes,
chat.
thank you. Oh, okay. I got an internal server error when I tried to open the ByWater staff client.
Looking.
Oops. Let me try that again. Oops.
I'll let our systems team know that it's currently out on an unscheduled coffee break.
Yeah. All right. So. All right. Yeah, I really don't want to mess with our records too badly. Yeah, that's not working. Okay. Wonder if I can just pull up some stuff and not actually make changes.
I'm wishing now I hadn't fixed the receiving a large print item on a regular print item from last week right now. I would have the perfect one.
Yeah. Let me, oh, I know what I'll do. I'll go into, oh, hang on a second. I'm going to move this so you're going to see my shirt instead of me for a minute because I'm sick of typing. Cleverly, Dell put the camera for you know, the webcam right down by the hinge on some of their computers, which I bought one of those. So I have to set my camera or my computer up high in order to have you not looking up my nose like you are now.
If it's any consolation, it's cutting out just above your upper lip.
Oh, okay. All right.
But that is very interesting for a webcam placement.
Yes. He was like, when I bought this, 2 years or 3 years ago, whatever, he's like, yeah, the one problem with this, and I'm like, oh, I hardly ever use the webcam, it's not going to be a problem. Welcome pandemic, and I use it all the time. Okay, I'm just going to create a dud basket in our Amazon account. And see what and one, select this one, and we're going to say it's okay. Okay. So I've got something here that I will share. Oh, one more click. Okay. Can you see my screen? All right.
Indeed.
So what I did was I just created a basket in our Amazon account for whatever reason. And Michelle, if you have input on this, let me know too. All right, so what we want to do is, oh, we're still in the basket. I got to close this basket. Yes, I really do. Okay, so we go to receive shipment. So this is going to be test, and we'll just go to next. All right, so I got to find, okay, so we got a couple things there. So say we want to receive this particular item. All right, so this is the search thing that Andrew was talking about. No, that's not the search thing. Well, on this page, this is how it currently looks when you receive. You've got, you can just go over here, click this, and you're all good. Or you have plenty of opportunity over here to change the accounting details. You could change the fund that it gets assigned to. So instead of putting it in adult fiction, we're like, oh no, this is not adult fiction. It's actually, we still have our 2020 stuff out there for reasons I don't understand. Nonfiction, we'll say it's nonfiction instead. If you want to change some of the stuff here, so this is the item actually. So let's say instead of being a book, it's actually a CD. So then we can change, you can change anything that's here. And then, if we scroll over here, we can see that the item type is CD. before. And then I guess technically this should be in our we'll call it music on CD account. And then we can set the quantity to 1 here, and you can change the prices if you want, and then save over here, which I'm not going to do. That's, I don't know. It was a while before we figured out that we could do all this stuff before we actually received it to actually, you know, this way it's going to get charged to the correct fund. That would happen before we figured out the right way to close out a previous year and start a new year. We would be going in and changing those, you know, whichever year we actually were using. Anything else? Like, Michelle, what are some other things that you have changed?
That was pretty much how you would receive it if it was, you know, working for you. But if you go ahead and click through and then 10 minutes later, you grab the book off of your cart and you realize that it was a large print book and not a regular print book, then you would have to reopen your invoice, unreceive your item, apply it to the re-receive it. Well, actually go back to the basket, change it in the basket to make sure the basket was accurate. Then go back into it, your invoice, re-receive it under the correct funds with the correct amount, and then close it out.
Yes, yeah. And
so yours is like the pretty way of like, yeah, it was right, but then, yeah.
Yeah, when it gets ugly, and yeah, after you've received it, and yeah, that's most of the time when we would have you would have to go back in, unreceive it, then change everything, and then you can go back in and receive it again to the correct account. So I just noticed this here, current is this, and so we're changing it to that. I hadn't noticed that little phrase in there before. But yeah, it is a way you can go in, unreceive something, and if I wasn't on my system, I would do that. But we can go from there. The one thing that popped into my mind while I was doing this is, I don't know about y'all, but I was thinking, do you have situations where when you are ordering something, your not for loan status is not ordered? Because we have to go in every time and set that to ordered. I'm wondering if we could just default, if you're adding something to a basket, if there's a way to just default that to ordered, it would be one less click. Does that resonate with anybody? Or
I do believe there's a way to do that, but I'd need to double check the steps. But
okay.
Yes, let me ask our educators, and then I can write up a quick 3 or 5 easy steps to setting these defaults.
Okay. Yeah.
99.9% sure. Yes, okay. You can do that.
I think it can be in the 942 tag on the framework.
Oh, in the framework. Okay.
Yeah, it's one of those. That's why I always double check with educators who know which of those switches to flip. But Daphne, if you want to step through that, please.
No, I'm just giving you a pointer to it to save you going off looking up other places. But that's the way we would do it. But I'm not suggesting you should do it that way. But that's
okay.
And using the ACT framework did change maybe on release 20, because in production we're still on 1911, so we still have to use the framework.
Okay. Well, that would be good information. Yeah, if anybody is doing something that would
I'm trying to think. Ours always come over when we grid it from Baker and Taylor, so I don't ever have to manually set it unless I make a manual basket for like an Amazon order where we can't just rip the order from the website.
Right. Yeah, I think ours, when they come over from Ingram, you know, we've got it gridded properly. But yeah, it's the Amazon orders and the bound to stay bound and, you know, whatever else that we're ordering.
Could you do it in a mark mod? Well, no, you can do it in mark mod 'cause I've done it. But I guess if you're, but then that's still only a batch file. You're manually doing item by item, so you'd have to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, if there's a way to specify, you know, to set it up per vendor, that would be good too. But yeah, if you can do it just in general, that would be, I would make sure that we get it done properly. Okay. Then I will clean this up afterward. Does anybody have anything that they're interested in talking about? If you have topics for the next meeting, well, maybe we should come up with some ideas about, you know, what we want to talk about next month. Does anybody have anything that they would, you know, that we, you know, we've got a full hour we can spend on going through stuff? Any ideas on that would be great.
Rhonda, this isn't so much for next meeting. I just have a kind of a quick question since this is our first year on acquisitions. Is there like a closeout procedure for like previous year's funds? Is there any kind of like a something I should follow? Right now, we're still, because of the way our year end went, we're still finishing up those funds. So we're not done or ready to do that yet. But I wasn't sure on our old system, there was like a thing you went through to close out your funds and make sure that the New Year's funds were that. So I was just wondering if there was somewhere I should look for that, or like I said, we're very discombobulated this year with the close down and everything. You know, I'm trying to get used to acquisitions, and right now I'm the only person doing them because I'm trying to train some staff up, but I'm not in the library. I'm working from home due to medical leave. So, you know, it's been kind of back and forth. So I wondered if there was some place I should be looking for that.
Yeah, there's definitely, there's I think for sure a blog post. I don't know if Margaret looks like she's looking something up here. But there's a blog post from ByWater that talks about the year end.
Okay, that would be great.
And there might be a video too, I'm not sure. Okay,
Yeah,
Margaret put it in the chat.
This was our topic
awesome.
in
Thank
August, where we stepped through the process, and
Okay.
Rhonda showed us both how to do it and one of the most common faux pas when you're doing it, and then how to fix it.
Okay.
So enjoy that whole video.
Okay, I will save that and get a look at that.
Yeah, and that's actually from a previous acquisitions meeting where we went through all that. So, and there is also a ByWater post about it. But
okay,
I'll track that one down.
Okay, great. You can. Are you gonna put in the chat, or are you gonna just email that to me, or since I know we're almost done for the day?
I'll add it to the chat real quick.
Okay.
And I don't think I have your email yet, so
sure. Sure.
Yeah.
Rhonda, oh, go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I'm usually just a silent lurker here because of that.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. What's that?
There is something actually that would be good for the next one. So we mentioned importing an order from a vendor. So we're trying to go with Ingram as like a side vendor. And I
Okay.
discovered that our system apparently does not work with Ingram's system. And I was trying to watch your KohaCon video, but the recording is atrocious. So,
Oh.
and I was thinking about it, like other people have Baker and Taylor, other people have Ingram. I'm sure people have Brodart. I don't know who they are, but it would be nice to actually have from like, okay, I have my basket or cart or list or whatever it is in the vendor, import it, the whole step through. Of course, you can't receive it until later, but at least we can see from each major vendor. So when I'm trying to like look at Ingram's way, I can't, and I don't know if there is a recording of the ByWater, or sorry, the Baker and Taylor way.
Yeah, I'm not sure there is either. So yeah, we could definitely, you know, like if you've got Baker and Taylor down, right?
Yep.
Okay, and we have Ingram down. I don't, you know, we could put a call out for somebody that does EDI with Brodart. And then each, you know, kind of each show. I'm trying to think if there's a way we could do it kind of side by side. That would be interesting. But let's see. Maybe we can talk, Michelle, and figure out some way to do this. Because I think that would be interesting, because it is very true that excuse me, each of the vendors are very, very different. That's one of the things that made getting EDI so much more difficult in the States. Was in Europe, everybody does EDI the same. And in the States, every vendor does their own thing. So you've kind of got to set everything up per vendor. So it is very true that you need to, you know, the way for us, even the way Ingram does it versus the way Midwest Tape does it versus the way Play Away does it, or Find Away, whatever they're called, are completely different. We had to set them all up uniquely. So yeah, that would be a very interesting topic. Okay. All right, we've got that, and I think we're just about out of time here. So yeah, Michelle, you and I can email and figure out what we want to do.
Agreed.
Okay. I think that'll be helpful to a lot of people, just to see the differences in how to do stuff. Cool. All right. Well, stay warm, everyone. Stay safe. If Texas is in single digits, I know the rest of the country is probably cold too. I talked to my sister in Cleveland. They have a school day. She works at a school, so she's home today too. So I know there's spots all over the country that are experiencing this coldness.
Give some to us in California. That'd be great.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll do our best. We'll blow it your way. Kind of backwards for us, but yeah. Woo. It's cold. So, all right. Jason, if you want to, you can stop the recording, or do I have that power?